Listen-only mode.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday, August 13th, 2014 episode of Free Webinar Wednesdays. This is Eric Cook with WSI Internet Consulting, where we work with businesses and organizations on helping them better understand and leverage the power of the internet as a strategic business tool. You can learn more about me and WSI online at www.poweredbywsi.com. With me this week is my good friend and Free Webinar Wednesday partner, Mr. Jeff Simpkins. Jeff, say hello to everybody out there in Free Webinar Wednesday world.
Greetings, everyone. This is Jeff Simpkins. I am with Community Bank Consulting, Inc., and you can learn more about me and Community Bank Consulting, Inc. online at www.communitybankconsulting.com.
Excellent. So what's new with you, Mr. Simpkins? We had to take last week off, so I'm sure everybody is just dying to know what we've been doing over the last couple of weeks.
I actually had a really fun weekend. We went to the mountains up close to Asheville, North Carolina, which is where the Biltmore Estate is located, and did a little 2-mile, 2-hour tubing trip down a river, and it ended in Cherokee, North Carolina. It was
Nice.
a lot of fun.
Very
Years
cool.
since I've done that kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, did you make sure that you got the extra tube with the lined cooler that you could put ice and maybe some malt pops in, or was this? It's always
we were part of a group, and there was a cooler tube that was
nice.
Group.
Nice. Yeah, that's important. So, well, as we were talking before we started the show, I'm actually back in Madison, Wisconsin this week, and I am presenting at the Graduate School of Banking, which is a program that I had the privilege of going through when I was a banker. And they brought me back, and so now I'm in my 4th or 5th year, I think, as an instructor. And normally I don't get in this early, but I came in an extra day early with my wife, which gave me the ability to go to one of the local watering holes, and they have implemented a new, every Tuesday night they do deep fried bacon night. So instead of peanuts or other sorts of snacks, you walk in and they give you a little paper bowl of deep fried bacon. And I think unless you're a vegetarian, I think you agree pretty much everything's better with bacon. It doesn't matter how you cook it. It's all pretty tasty. So I got to experience deep fried bacon night. So that was pretty cool. So I've certainly started off Madison on the right foot. And I didn't eat too much of it, so I don't have. Yeah, I didn't eat too much of it, so I don't have a tummy ache, which is good because I'm suspecting that probably could happen. So, but it's fun to be in Madison, and looking forward to doing some teaching on Thursday and Friday. So. Well, let's go ahead and we'll kick things off. I'm excited about welcoming back Scott to the show. But before we do that formally, I just want to remind everybody that Free Webinar Wednesdays is recorded and made available at freewebinarwednesdays.com. So as we go through today's session and there's something that you want to share with a friend or a colleague, or maybe you want to go back and revisit something, you're more than welcome to do that on our website. We would like to also encourage you to click the like button on our Facebook page. That's where we provide updates and notifications on upcoming shows, so you can hop over there and do that. And then lastly, I know Scott really wants today's session to be interactive and even post a little bit of homework on our website to kind of encourage people to bring questions. We would like to hear from you and encourage those through the chat window in your control panel, which is most likely located over there on the right-hand side of your computer screen through the GoToMeeting interface. So when we get to the point, we're going to see if we can stump the expert and ask him all sorts of questions about how to do things in Evernote. And I know I'm an Evernote user, and I'm really looking forward to today's session. So with those housekeeping items out of the way and my public service announcement for the joys and wonders of deep fried bacon, we're going to go ahead and kick things off. Scott, welcome back to Free Webinar Wednesdays. We're excited to have you here. I'm going to do my little magic and send you the presentation controls so that you can share your screen. And I know I speak for everybody here. We're really excited about having you walk us through what's going on in Evernote and how to use it to be more productive, which I think everybody can say everybody wants to be more productive. And so you're going to show us how to do that. So
Absolutely. Well, Eric and Jeff, I want to thank you for bringing me back on the show. It's great to come here and share the value that I have with everybody and all in your community. Today is going to be a really interesting webinar because I really only want to spend about maybe 5 to 15 minutes chatting, sharing the 3 things that people can do right now in order to be more productive in their life, either in their life, in their business, or etc. And then also open it up to everybody watching to see how I can help them individually. So as you guys know, on the free webinar Wednesday page, I asked you to do a little bit of homework here where I want you guys to be thinking, you know, what is the question that you want me to answer that specifically is going to help you solve a specific problem or thing that's happening in your life, whether it's your business or something that you do or you don't do or whatever. I really want you to kind of take this homework seriously because it's going to make this whole entire webinar really awesome and productive and valuable, which is really what my end goal is here. Before I jump into the 3 things that I feel that will help you guys be more productive, I just want to remind you guys a few things. My main website is scottbradley.name, so if you wanted to learn more about me, you can go there and check it out. I also have a YouTube channel, as you saw in the free webinar Wednesday post, where I post training videos on using Evernote to be more productive. And you know, every time that I post a video, I also send an email to an email list. And that email list, if you want to go sign up, it's scottbradley.name/Evernote tips. And every time I publish a new video to this YouTube channel, I send an email to the link because we can't always rely on YouTube to deliver the videos. So I wanted to point those 2 important details out first before we jump in. So when it comes to using Evernote at the end of the day, most people, when they download it, if you haven't already done so, all you need to do is go to evernote.com, sign up for an account, get started. And what I find most people do when they first get this is they see it as a big filing cabinet. And the fact of the matter is that it's so much more than that. You know, most people, they open it up, they think, oh, I can just put everything that I need in here, and that's what Evernote's going to be for me. But when I opened up Evernote about 2 to 3 years ago, I'm like, wow, this can be a platform and a dashboard for my entire life. Not only can it help me organize information that I want to organize, but it can also help me be more productive and effective in my life in all areas, whether it's my personal life and managing something like, you know, managing a meal plan or weight loss, or even more so, you know, going to the business side of, oh, you know, I have a blog and I want to use Evernote to help me, you know, manage the flow of information from idea to writing piece to blog. Can Evernote help me do that? And so in the 3 systems that I'm going to show you that are, you know, very simple systems that you can set up at, you know, either as I'm doing them with you or at the end of this webinar, it's going to help you see the possibilities of what Evernote can do. Now, one thing that I would highly recommend that everybody do on this, if they haven't already done so, after the webinar, go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/EvernoteScott, and watch this 11 amazing features video that I have right here. And the reason that's important is because I always look at a software product or a software tool and say, okay, what are the features? What can the features do? And knowing those 2 things, what's possible and what can I create that's going to work for me? Because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, most people open up Evernote and go, oh, this is just a big filing cabinet. But it's so much more than that, and really it comes down to you asking yourself the question, you know, here's one specific thing that I'm doing in my life, and how can I use Evernote to do it better and more effectively? That is the question that has driven, you know, these 3 specific systems that I'm going to show you how to set up here. And in showing you these, I really hope that it opens up your creative mind to create systems that work for you. And the main reason why I asked you to you know, do this little homework assignment here on the actual, you know, on the free webinar website is because with every question that's going to be asked today, you know, for the next 45 minutes or so, I'm going to be showing features and ways of thinking that are going to help you see how you can implement that thinking into your life. So I'm really excited to be able to do that for you.
We got a question. Scott.
Sure, let it rip.
Yeah, I think Jeff, you were interjecting with the question that might be maybe a good one to start off with.
Yeah, I want to put this one out there because I think it'll be a good one to have on the table as you begin. Demetria says, it seems as if I'm missing an organizing principle or framework. She would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. And that we can tackle that first question, and I'm just going to write it down here, framework.
Organizing principle.
Yep, organizing principle. Yeah, and I'll tackle that first, and then what I'll do is after I show you how to set up these first three systems, I'll even go into my own Evernote and show you some of the more of the systems that I've set up that I also talk more in depth and detail in the actual YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's jump into system number one. I'm sure if you run a business or even in your personal life, you love using sticky notes. And sticky notes are probably posted all over your desk, all over a wall, all over a refrigerator. And in some cases, you can kind of run into sticky note overwhelm, is what I like to call it. And so, one of the things that I saw when I first started using Evernote was, okay, wait, there's notebooks, there's the notes in each notebook, and there's the content within each note within each notebook. And I started thinking to myself, it's like, I have all these sticky notes all over the place that are either little tasks, little reminders, little things that I want to get done, or little to-do items. How can I use Evernote to manage this sticky note problem that I've run into? And I'm going to show you guys how to do that, and it's a very simple system, and I'm sure after I show you, you're going to want to implement it ASAP. So I am currently logged into the web-based version of Evernote, but just to let everybody know, they also provide a desktop-based version of Evernote. So that's here, and when I start going into my Evernote setups and whatnot, I will be bringing that back and forth for us to review. But just for now, since I know for a fact everybody has a web browser, we're going to just start here. And then also want to point out to you that they also have iPhone applications as well as iPad applications and other tablet-based stuff.
And so, Android. Don't leave my Android buddies out of this.
And Android, that's right. Yes, sorry, political correctness. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to set up this sticky note thing real fast. So what you're going to do is when you log in, you're going to come up here to this little arrow and you just click it down, and it's going to go New Notebook. And I like to call this notebook, and I like to title it Sticky Notes. Sticky Notes. Save. Boom. And as you'll see down here, it creates a blank notebook over here for you. Once you do that, let's say, for instance, you're on a phone with someone, or you're going about your daily life, and you're like, oh gosh, I need to write this down, but I don't know where to put it. I think I need to just put it in a sticky note. So all you have to do is come up here and click New Note, title it, Note 1, item, or, and then you can also put whatever copy there that you want. And so when you come back here, you'll have Note 1, and you say you have another sticky note, Note 2, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can potentially have hundreds of notes within your sticky note notebook that are all within the context of, you would rather, in your daily life, you would write down a sticky note, but now you have a place in Evernote that's paperless that you can always review, whether by putting, a reminder in your calendar every week or whatever, to come in and clear these out. Because really, I like to use the sticky notes in a way of, okay, I'll write it down, I'll process it, and I'm going to delete it. Because if you want to delete a note, all that you have to do is come up here. Let's just say this was a task that you wanted to do that was really quick. You can come up here and just click a little trash can, and it says, do you want to delete note 2? Delete. So, depending on how you want to use this and how you use sticky notes in your daily life, this can be a small little system within your Evernote that you can use where it's like, no, I don't need paper sticky notes anymore. I'm going to use Evernote. So that's system number one. System number two. Not many people know this, and every time that I tell new Evernote users about this, they're like, wait, you're kidding me, right? I'm like, nope, you can do this. So, as we all know, we get hundreds of emails every single week, and in some cases, maybe thousands of emails. Some of them we delete, some of them we reply, some of them we forward, some of them we let sit there, some of them are tied to tasks, etc., etc., etc. I'm sure all of us as business people, as well as people running, normal everyday lives, can relate to that. And when I found this feature and I realized what was possible with it, I really got excited, because I realized that with this feature, I could completely have a clean inbox 100% of the time without having to worry about, oh my God, my inbox is going to blow up and I'm going to lose things, or, I'm not going to be able to reference things that I want because they're going to get lost, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to point out feature number 2 for you guys. And feature number 2 is you can actually email notes from your email into Evernote. And I'm going to show you how to do that. The first thing that you want to do is get your Evernote email address. So what you want to do is when you're logged in here, in the top right-hand corner, you're going to see a little arrow. And again, this is just a test account that I use. You're going to click down, and you're going to go to Account Settings. And when you scroll down here, you're going to see something that says Email Note 2, and it's going to give you an email address. What this email address is going to allow you to do, I'm just going to illustrate it right now. So I just copied that email address. I'm going to open up my email program here real fast. I'll show you, this is very cool. I use this more than, it keeps my inbox clean. So let's say, for instance, I got an idea really fast and I didn't have time to open up my Evernote, and I wanted to throw it in there. So it's like, idea number 1, details about the idea, etc. And I'm just going to press send. So it just got sent into Evernote, and by being sent into Evernote, it lands in what's called your default notebook. And when you first set up your account in Evernote, your default notebook is going to be the username that you select when creating your account. But I like to rename this notebook, and I like to title it Inbox. So as you see here, it's like ****, inbox in all caps, ****. And when I clicked there, look at what's here. Idea 1 was the subject line, details about the idea was the body, and it's all here ready for me to go and organize and functionalize whatever way that I want to based on sending it in. Now let me take it a step further. Maybe sometimes we may not be near a computer on our email, or we don't have email on our phone or our tablet. You can also send text messages to that email address, and the same thing happens. So there's no excuse at this point in using Evernote to ever have an idea escape you, or ever have an idea that you can't write down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This feature alone has just completely revolutionized how I process my email, because it's like I open up my email, I can either delete it, I can reply to it, I can forward it, I can send it into Evernote, I can leave it there because it's a task, and when the task is done, I can delete it. As you see here in my inbox, I only have about 47 messages here. So every single day, I have a place to dump the stuff, because, I realize we get a lot of newsletters, we get a lot of blog posts, depending on how we sign up to blogs and consume content, and we sometimes want to save this information, but we may not want to keep it in our inbox, but rather have another place to put it. And the best thing about this is that as you keep sending stuff into Evernote, it's totally searchable. So let's just go up here and type in the word, up here in the search box, you can type the word Evernote, search, and it's going to show you all the places where the word Evernote is in all of your notes within all of your notebooks. So if you're one of those people that goes, okay, I'm getting these emails and I'm forwarding them into my Evernote, I want to, maybe a couple months pass and you kind of face a situation where it's like, oh, I need this information and I know I sent it into my Evernote. You can, rather than having to, wade through thousands of emails, you can come into Evernote and type in, hey, Evernote, I want to see, maybe it was all about, driving traffic. I don't know. Let's just see. Traffic, enter. Oh, no, not there. So, you get the idea that the fact that you can email stuff into Evernote is really going to help you keep it clean, keep your mind clear, but also give you that space of, if you need to reference it later, you can easily search it. And, if you really want to get super detailed, I like to keep my inbox as clean as possible. Again, this is just a test account. So every time you upload stuff into your Evernote, you can spend time once per week or once per month going through your inbox and organizing them in a specific notebook that you want to choose each note to be in. So that is system number 2 that I feel like is going to really help people, keep their inbox clean, allow things not to fall through the cracks, and just be more effective every day going forward, whether they're running a business, whether they're in a job, or whether they are, managing specific things in their life. Now, the final thing that I want to let you guys know about that is very exciting is not many people know this, but when you are using either the desktop version or you're using the iPhone, Android version, or iPad version, you can create audio notes as well as picture notes. And if you see here on the top right-hand corner, I have audio notes and I have picture notes. And what's really amazing about this is that, if you're in a situation where, like I kind of talked about in the previous system where you're emailing into Evernote and you can do it via a text message or you can do it via an email. Let's say you just get the brink of, not the brink, but just a sweep of inspiration that you just need to get down either in an audio note or you get a picture that you want to take that will create something for you later. What I recommend is that people set up audio note notebooks and picture note notebooks. Because let's say you're out and about, you have your iPhone, you have your Android phone, or whatever phone that has Evernote on it, and you are able to say, oh, I need to put this idea down, take 30 seconds, audio note it out, and it pops right into your notebook. This is really awesome. Like, let's just say here, click new audio note or click new note, boom. And you can see here, there's 3 options. It's like audio, picture, or attachment. So if I wanted to create an audio note here, all that I'd have to do is, audio, click to record, and then stop, et cetera, et cetera. So I click to record, testing, 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 click to stop, boom, there it is. Now, if I wanted to play it, all that I have to do is come here and press the play button, and there it is for your reference. Now, you can upload anything from your, like I said, you can pull up your Evernote, open it up, create a new note, say, oh, here's my audio note, and it's popping into my audio notes. Now, if you wanted to take it a step further, you can do what's called stacking your audio notes. So say let's say that you start, doing audio notes for specific areas in your business or specific areas in your personal life, and you wanted to split apart the difference between, business audio notes or personal audio notes. The way to do that here, I'm going to just show it in here, is I'm just going to create 2 new notebooks, just test notebook 1, save, and this is going to be test notebook 2. And so let's say, for instance, you had, business audio notes as well as personal life audio notes. What you want to do is create what's called a stack in Evernote. And the easiest way to do that is to click a notebook, drag it on top of the other one, and let it go, and you can have stack names. So this would be audio notes. Save. And then, as you see here, it's kind of like its own little folder here. So audio notes, expand. And then you can come in here and rename this business audio and personal audio, etc. So what you can do is when you download the application on your iPhone or your Android phone or your Windows phone or whatever phone you use, you can literally open up your Evernote, go right to your shortcuts, and click, the notebook and begin recording your note. And then, maybe once per week or once per month, you can actually go through them and say, okay, what are the ideas that I want to implement next month? Or what are the, if it's a weekly thing, what ideas do I want to implement next week? Again, it's such a blank slate for you to leverage that it's very exciting. It's very, very, very exciting. And so those are my 3 tips for you guys, the 3 systems that I would set up to start being more productive. And if we want to move to the questions, I'm more than willing to do that. We have a little over 34 minutes. Do you guys have any initial questions, Eric, or anything that I initially went over that you wanted me to review before we jump to everybody's questions?
Actually, I did have something. I was wondering if you go back to the ability to send an email or a text message into Evernote. I remember now that you say that that's one of the features that is available. And every time you say that, I'm like, oh, damn, I really need to use that, because I find myself frantically searching for scraps of paper to jot ideas on, and I don't know why I don't just fire up an email and send myself a note to Evernote so that it goes in there. But anyway, that being said, I know you haven't talked about tagging things quite yet, but I know within Evernote there's the ability to categorize everything that you put into the system with tags to further help you segment. Is there a way that you can apply tags in the process of sending yourself an email? So if I know that this is something that I also want for Graduate School of Banking, for example, I could do a GSB tag so that I not only send it to myself through email, but it automatically gets tagged with all my other GSB stuff.
Yeah, the whole functionality of creating a tag versus, using the tag in your system, it really is dependent on how you want to use the system and what your goals are. So, while most people, I look at tags completely differently than most people who use Evernote. Most people say, I'm going to categorize everything based on a tag, but what really ends up happening, at least from what I'm seeing, it creates a tag overwhelm. And you have hundreds of tags, where some tags maybe only have one or two notes tied to them, where others may have more. And so what I typically like to do from a tagging perspective is, I'll just show you an example here. Like here in one of the videos on the Evernote channel here at youtube.com/EvernoteScott, I do a video showing people how to create a sales funnel in Evernote without having to use expensive programs or anything. And so as you see here, there's a myriad of notebooks, and I walk through in detail how it works. But the way I use tags within this funnel setup is I basically create a tag saying, fun, short for what notebook is it in, and what is the detail within that notebook which this note is applied to. So, there's a whole systematic process. I'm not going to go into it in detail because I really want to get to questions. But if you want to go watch that video, all you have to do is go here, go down to Evernote Setups for Sales Professionals, and you guys will be able to watch how I use the tags within this context. But in short, again, just taking with your question, to find your email, it's right here, Eric. You just come up here to Account Settings, you scroll down, you get your email for that, and then you just want to make sure that, let me go back 1 second. You just want to make sure that you rename your default notebook to Inbox, so everything that drops there. And then let's say that something dropped there and then you wanted to tag it something. What you would do is you go up here and type, let's just say, for instance, it was one of the funnel tags. So you just type the word and you come here and click, whatever tag that you want it to be. So you can maybe have what was the tag that you were thinking about creating, Eric? GB something, I think. Eric? Eric? Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay.
I'm back. Sorry. GSB.
What was GSB?
Yes.
So like you can have a GSB tag that you come here and just, you click here, you click that, and you can add, GSB, banking, GSB, whatever. But I would highly recommend that if you are going to start creating a tagging structure, that you do it based on a specific notebook, where you would have, either a notebook stack or a specific notebook with the notes within those contexts. Otherwise, you're going to run into, all these notebooks every which way without, an organized system. And, you don't want to get to overwhelm. That's basically what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kinda. I guess, I still don't, I'm not sure if there's a way I like to use the hashtag as a tag So if I wanted to send myself an email where the subject is the subject, the body is the details, and then if I did hashtag GSB, gotcha. Can that automatically apply the GSB tag to the post so I don't have to go in and edit it when I'm actually going back into, because then that way I can go back in and I can say, okay, show me all the posts that I have related to the Graduate School of Banking, and then I can make sure that I have my bases covered. Or social media, or I find something cool on Facebook, I can tag it with Facebook. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what I would do is do the Google searching for applying tags on emails into Evernote, and they'll tell you. I don't know exactly because I don't use that feature.
Sure.
But I do know that there is a way. Let's just click this article real fast. Emailing into Evernote. Yep. So yes, hashtags do create the tags. So you could do trip to Florida @travel is the notebook at your notebook name, and then hashtag whatever the tag is what the modality that you use.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, that is correct.
There you go. We all learned something new. Thank you.
Absolutely. So if it's okay, I'd like to, before we jump into the homework questions that everybody has, I'd love to jump into the framework question. And
yes.
If you could reread it, that would be best.
Jeff.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Could you reread the one question for the that we got from me, I think?
Let me find it. It says, it seems as if I'm missing an organizing principle or framework. I would love to hear your thoughts.
Okay. So, Demetrius, what I would highly recommend that you do is really think from the space of, how do I want to use Evernote to do what I'm already doing in my life better or more effectively? The typical system that I would probably run through is looking at all the things that you do every day and going and just listing them out, whether it's in your personal life or whether it's in your business, and write down, what do I want to do better that I'm already doing in my personal life, and figuring out how can Evernote be that solution for me. Because the fact of the matter is there is not a one-size-fits-all, catch-all for, a framework, if you will. Maybe what I would recommend that you do is just come over and watch some of these videos here on my channel that will help give you the context to help you come up with your own custom setup. Because, again, the fact of the matter is there is no one-size-fits-all. It's a blank slate, if you will, and you can use it any specific way that you want for what you need it to do. Keyword what you need it to do being the key phrase there. So, maybe the better question is, if there's something in your life that you think that could be done more effectively than how you're doing it now, maybe if you ask your question in the box, that would help you. That would help me help you more effectively. Because the initial question is too broad to answer it without knowing any specifics.
Scott, there's a bunch of other questions that are open if you want me to put some new questions out there.
Yeah, let it rip.
Hang on a second. Let me get to that window. Okay, I'm going to have to go through and summarize this one.
Okay.
You want me to take that one, Jeff, since I've kind of been communicating with the question asker?
Sure.
Yeah. So I think in a nutshell, and there's really two parts to this. One is on a mobile device like a tablet or an iPhone or an Android device, and the other is actually on the web. But the question is, this individual typically is printing articles off in PDF format to keep them and wants to figure out a way that he can use Evernote to store web pages or other articles that he finds online for future use, almost like a web clipping service. So I have some ideas on this, but I will defer to you and see what you cover, and then maybe I'll throw some other things in as to how this is probably the main reason why I use Evernote, actually.
Gotcha. So one of the things that I want to ask is, what is the goal or the purpose of doing this? Because at the end of the day, it's like I create the systems based on the goal that wants to be achieved rather than the functionality of creating it. So
I think
context that you
I think the main goal is reading an article, seeing it, and wanting to be able to have it for future reference. So in the past, it was printing it off and sticking it in a folder because maybe it's useful. It relates to a project that he's doing. It has research statistics that he might be able to use later on, but essentially creating a repository of articles that he's come across without having to print and save a bunch of PDFs.
Absolutely. Okay, that's a really great question, and it's great that he asked that because I actually have a video on the channel that goes over that in detail, but I'm going to just, point that out to, I believe it's the, if you go over here, just to point it out, and then I'll talk briefly about it so he can have the context. You come up here and click videos, and you scroll to, let's see here. Okay, how to use Evernote to easily, here it's this one. Okay, so how to use Evernote to easily store and access digital information in the future. So in the case of specific web pages, what I would recommend basically is about creating what I like to call a reference notebook. And in the reference notebook, there are, I'll just kind of point it out here. It'd be new notebook. It would be titled reference, save. And in this reference notebook, it basically becomes the repository for anything that I want to save that I know I'll probably use in the future because it's useful, but I don't need to use it right now. So that's kind of like the context for the actual notebook. And then what I have done from, actually, let me pull up mine and I'll show you how that works. So as you see here, I have my reference notebook, and I have, I used to do bill confirmation, but not. So I have my main reference notebook.
Hey, Scott?
And yes.
Yeah, just a quick check. Jeff, I don't know if it's done this on yours, but I'm seeing the mouse move, but I'm not seeing the actual information change on the screen. Are you seeing that as well, or is it just me?
I see the inbox with idea number 1 and welcome to Evernote now.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you guys want, here, how about this? Take control of the webinar and then give me back control. I know we had this problem last time.
Yeah, let me go ahead and take care of that. Just a quick second here.
I actually was using GoToMeeting yesterday and had this issue.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
All right, now I'll push it back to you, Scott. Yeah, you were talking and your mouse was moving, and I knew what you were trying to do, but it was like none of the windows that you were clicking on and creating and referring to were appearing on your screen. So,
okay, this is strange. I am getting a candy wheel on mine. So
Apple's never crash. Macs never crash. Where's Greg McPherson when you need him?
Let me close and relog back in, and then this will probably work. Give me
a
second.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let me go ahead and I guess while we're on that topic, one of the things, because again, I said one of the main functions that I use my Evernote account for is actually clipping things. And I do a lot of presenting. Obviously, I'm an instructor at the Graduate School of Banking, and I do a lot of other stuff. So I'm always on the lookout for helpful articles that I'd like to save, potentially for a blog post or some presentation material. So I use Chrome most of the time, and one of the features that Evernote provides is what's known as a little web clipper. And so I've got this installed, and on Jeff, maybe you can just validate that you're seeing my screen and my little web clipper here.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So I know that they have a plugin also for Firefox. I'm not so sure about Internet Explorer, but Firefox and Chrome, and maybe even for Safari as well. But if there's an article that I go to and I really like it, so let's say this particular article I find really interesting, I can go ahead and click on my little Evernote clipper. I can also use on the Mac, it's Command E for Evernote. But now this gives me the ability to clip, and you'll see a couple of things that I really like. One is I can highlight something. So if I say that there's a particular paragraph or something that I really want to stand out, I can highlight it. I can clip the article. I can clip what's known as a simplified version of the article. So if I wanted to just be able to print this later on, it strips out all the extra stuff and it just focuses on the article content itself. I can clip the actual full page because maybe I want to get all the registration information. I can bookmark it, or I can just do a screenshot. And underneath here, you can see I've got the ability to pick which book or which notebook I want to put this in. So I'm going to go back. Normally what I do is I clip the article just because that's kind of the default and the preference. But in here, I'm going to go ahead and say that Evernote is something that I want, and maybe presentation material, and then we've also got another element here where maybe it's tips. So then I can classify all of that. I can even add a remark here, and I can put that information in, and then I can save it. And then that synchronizes that to my notebook. And then what the Evernote Clipper does is it pulls up other notes that might be related. So here's another one from Free Webinar Wednesdays that may have actually been one of the other sessions that we had with Scott, because it recognized that I put Scott and Evernote in there. I can even use the Evernote platform to socially syndicate that, and I can post it out to Facebook or Twitter, and I can share it right from here. So so that's one of the ways that I use it. Now, I know if you're on like an iPad or an iPhone, if you've got Evernote installed and you click on the little share, which is the 3 dots with lines, that will also give you the ability to share the article with Evernote, although sometimes when you do that, you'll only get the actual URL. You won't get the full article. So you may need to hop back into Evernote to go back to visit the URL and to get the full clip so that you can have the actual clip in Evernote as opposed to just the URL to the article so that you can read it when you're not online. So hopefully that helps.
Yep. So I actually got back. Can you guys, do you want to give me back the control?
Yep. Let's go ahead and put it back to you.
Great. All right. Can you see my screen now, finally?
There we go.
All right. Perfect. So going on the whole reference notebook that we were talking about. So typically, you know, in the past, I would send in my bill confirmations for reference, but I mainly had it in the main. So I created this reference notebook main, and then what I did is I created a tagging structure for everything that I put into this notebook. And what that would allow me to do is put anything that I wanted to reference in here, but easily be able to find it via tags. So as you see here, the tag that I've titled my sectionals is reference personal reminders. If I wanted to put another, here are all the personal tags that I've created for everything in my reference notebook. So I'm able to know, okay, this tag is tied to all the notes in my reference notebook, and I can find, okay, you know, I don't need to put anything here because I've already done it, but you'll see here that, let's see here, we'll go down, you know, personal reminders. Here's something from Frank Kern, so it was reference biz reminders, protein powders, reference personal reminders, sugar video, reference personal reminders. So, you know, I have all of these reminders or these tags that I only use for this specific notebook. And I believe that the person who asked the question, this is the best possible way to organize and have that dump book, if you will, because the value here is that you can either search all of this content via tags, or you can come in here and search it via content specifically. So let's just say I want to see all the notes in, oh wait, click here. I want to see, oh no, you click, yep, this first, make sure you're in that notebook. I want to see all the notes within the notebook main with protein, enter, and then it shows me all the notes within the reference notebook with the word protein. So there's that, there's this, here's my protein powders one. So it allows you to, that's the best solution that I figured out for this. So is if the person's here in the chat, I'd love to know if this setup would be helpful for him. But if you want, we can move to the next question.
Yeah, I think that covers it. We do have a couple more questions related to sharing content, and so maybe I'll ask these both together because I think you'll be able to answer them. Daniel says, "What about sharing a note with a client or a partner?" And then Nicole also says, "Can she warehouse educational materials and then share access with her clients?" So I think those are somewhat related. Yeah.
What I would do, as far as what Michelle said, what I would end up doing is I would create, it's free to create an Evernote account. That's what's so beautiful about this. So what I would do is I would create a free Evernote account just specifically for that purpose. And then you can put all the content in here in any way that you feel is the best for them, depending on what your content is. And then you can basically just give them the username and password to go in there and start consuming it. And the thing about Evernote that's great is that you can actually create the content in a PDF and then just literally drag, drop the PDF in here. So for instance, let's say, I'm just going to use this reference notebook here. If I wanted to add in an attachment here, one second. You click the note itself, and you see, there's the attachment. You may attach up to 10 files at a time. The size may not exceed 25 megabytes. So you can put either the physical copy of what you want to give them here, or you can actually give the actual file itself. That's what I would do. But as far regarding the first question, is there any way you could elaborate on the sharing of it specifically?
Well, yeah, like sharing a note with a client or a partner. Let's say you're working on maybe a website and you have a blog post that you're writing for a client. I know Daniel is actually a consultant like myself. So let's say I'm writing a blog post for you, Scott, and I want you to take a look at it and to review it just to make sure that I'm on the right track. Can I give you access to that note and just send it to your Evernote account and allow you to review it and then comment on it, almost like using a Google app, Google Drive type, Google Doc?
You could. I would do it I would make it easier on us. I would come in here and press the share button, and you can say, I want the link to be shared, and it gives you a link, and I would email the link to the person and say, here's the blog post I'm working on for you. Please tell me if I'm on the right track. If I am, I'll continue. If I'm not, tell me where I need to change. Copy to clipboard, done, send it. And then to unshare it, all you do is click share. Let me see here. How would you unshare it? Let me remind myself here. Link. Stop. So you click link and you press stop sharing.
Okay. Now, when you share that link, so let's say I send that link to you and go, hey, Scott, check this out. Is this the right blog post? Does that also give you the ability to go in and provide your comments so that you could edit that and collaborate so we can both work on it together? Or does that just give you the ability to view it?
Let me just look here. No, it's just to see it. You can't modify it. But if they did, the other possible way to do this is to click share. No, I'll just do link, stop sharing. Stop sharing. Tools. Let's see. Share. Boom, boom. I know there is a way to share notebooks with people. I just never have done it. I've always used the share with the link. But I do know that you can share. Wait, click here. Oh, here you go. You click the actual thing right here, and it says share this notebook. You can share notebooks, but the only way to share notes is to with this. But in that case, given the fact that he has his client, what I would end up doing is have my client set up their own Evernote account and then basically share this notebook with them. And then every time you want them to go and review something, they can go, you can say, hey, here's the new blog post that's in your Evernote account. Here's the title of the notes. Please tell me if I'm on the right track. If I'm not, please put your comments there where I need to be on the right track.
Gotcha.
That's what I would.
Okay. And then to, I guess, carry that back to Nicole's question regarding educational materials, Nicole, you could create a notebook and share that notebook with your clients and put your educational information in there.
Correct.
So your notebook could have different notes within it. You could upload PDFs, white papers, videos, any other educational information that you're creating, and then they could just access it right from that notebook that you shared out. So
exactly.
Very good. Cool. Okay.
What other questions do we have? Anyone that followed the prompt of the homework assignment?
Let's ask that of the audience and see if there's a particular thing. I think that's kind of what Daniel was looking at. I'm in the web development business, and I wanted to be able to share materials with my clients more easily. So I think I'll give Daniel and Nicole maybe a little gold star, maybe Jason as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wanting to be able to clip information, save it for future reference. So this may seem like a silly question, and I'll ask it only because I want to get clarification. But you had mentioned the ability to SMS and send text as well as email, but yet the Evernote system only provides an email address, not a text message number. Was that misinterpretation on my part, or
Nope. So you can send a text message to an email address.
To an email address.
Like if I open up my iMessage here on my iPhone and send a text message to that email address that Evernote provides, it goes through no problem. And it drops right into your main inbox notebook or your default notebook that you get when you first open up your account.
Okay.
So yes, everyone did hear that correctly.
Good. Okay. Just making sure.
Yep. Again, it's such a blank slate, and depending on how people want to use it, it's like they give people full reign on what to do and how to do it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, well, and sometimes a blank slate is a good thing, and sometimes a blank slate is just a very intimidating piece of white screen that you don't really know where to begin. And I think that kind of goes back to the initial question that was asked at the beginning of an organization or an organizing principle or framework. Just taking some of the things that you've said, I think one of the things is, have an inbox that everything goes to, but then organize and force yourself to get it out of there so that you look at it and make sure it goes someplace else. I think
Correct.
Categorizing things, whether you want to categorize it based on text, audio, and pictures, maybe even create another notebook for files. So if you're uploading PDFs, say the educational material, you could be able to provide notebooks for those.
Yep.
I think it would also be good to provide maybe business related and personal. Remember to weed the garden and mow the lawn. Maybe doesn't need to be filtered in with, review performance reports and create a strategic marketing plan.
Sure.
So you can segment your personal and your business life a little bit that way. So I think.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Eric, it really does come down to what do you want to use it to accomplish?
Right.
That's really what it comes down to. So it's like, when I work with people or people come and watch my videos, it's like, well, Scott, here's the business I'm in. Here's what I do every day. How would you set up Evernote given that, given that situation?
Yep.
So like over here on mine, I have my audio notes, my picture notes, a daily fill notebook, which is something that I look at, pretty much every day to keep me centered and focused. Here's, a specific framework that I use to manage other specific things. There's so much here. Like here, let me see here. Like in my today and year notebook, I have addresses to change when moving. So here's a list there. So each notebook has its own purpose within the space of my own Evernote account, and because you can have a large, I believe it's like 350 or so notebooks within each Evernote account, it's like whatever you need to do can be done. You just need to set it up the way that's going to work for you. And so did Demetrius put a more specific question or come back with anything more specific other than just a general framework?
No, I don't see a follow-up. So I think,
okay.
Yeah. I guess, Jeff, I don't know if there's any other follow-up questions that you've got before I've got one more thing.
No, go ahead.
you've mentioned a couple of times, and I know that I used, and I started off with the free account. At what point do you see it being a necessity or a good recommendation to move to the premium where you're paying, I think it's like $45 a year or something like that? It's not a lot of money, but what are the recommendations? We get that question a lot. How often do I need to be using LinkedIn before I buy the premium version of LinkedIn? So do you have any advice on when somebody is going to want to look at the premium version of Evernote?
Let me look here real fast, because they change it from time to time about what features. So offline notebooks, if you need access to offline, notebooks offline, that would be one reason.
And that's why I did it, but I didn't know if there was any other. Yeah.
Edit notes you share with them and see note history for the past versions of notes. So past history is an important feature for some people. If you want to have, an extra layer of protection on your mobile device with a passcode. So, if you don't have the premium, you don't have a passcode, so someone can pick it up and start looking through if you don't have the premium. So you get a 1 gigabyte monthly upload limit, which is probably more than what you get with a free. So let's see. It also does searching within PDFs rather than just the notes content. So it indexes all the text, and it also does presentation mode, which helps you do presentation as well.
Yeah.
So it's a combination. I would say that if you are someone that's uploading massive amounts of stuff into it, and or you need any of these specific features that you want, that's when I would upgrade. Otherwise, I would keep the free version.
Yeah. I would say if you're in an environment or an area where maybe your internet connectivity is sketchy at home, or you do a lot of traveling, for $45 a year to have your offline notebooks, with me, when I'm clipping things and adding stuff, it's nice because it's like having a mini version of a Kindle along with me, because I could pop in and take a look at all the articles that I've said, I'm going to read that later and that later and that later. So for me, that was the deciding factor. I haven't even really explored some of the other ones, but I'm curious on the whole presentation mode just to see how that's at. So
and they keep adding new features over and over again, and it's like I did this one video for the 11th feature that has 300 something thousand views on it, but at that point it's like I need to create a new one of these videos because of the new features that have been launched since I first created it.
Yeah.
So, it's always new stuff, and they're going to make more value for the premium users and all that stuff. And I think there's over 100 million users of Evernote right now. So it's an interesting platform, and it's awesome. I love using it every day.
Cool. Good. Well, that takes us to the top of the hour. So more good stuff. My little nugget is the stacking capability. I had in my notes to ask you whether or not we could stack notebooks upon notebooks to create some nested organizational structure, and I didn't realize Stacks was capable. So I got my little nugget and made it worth my money. So I appreciate that.
Awesome. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, the email address to send it to is evernotescott@gmail.com. And don't forget to sign up here for every time I post a new video to the Evernote channel to scottbradley.name/Evernote tips.
Cool.
And every email you get, it's just a new video posted to the channel.
Excellent. Good stuff. So,
Awesome.
Yeah. Jeff, I know you're the strong and silent type. Anything you want to say in closing?
I'm actually logged into my Evernote account doing some maintenance. Good information.
Yeah, I'm fighting the urge right now. I use the microphone and speakers on my computer, so if I type, you'll know it. So I'm holding off, but I'm feverishly writing notes next to me. So good stuff, Scott. Thanks again for joining us, and hopefully everybody out there got some good info. Check them out on YouTube. Watch some of those videos. I know there were some questions regarding the sales funnel strategy and some other ideas, and certainly reach out. I know Scott is always interested and eager to answer questions, and so if you ping him, he will ping you back. So good stuff.
Absolutely.
So that concludes this week's episode. We'll get this recording up to Free Webinar Wednesdays here as quick as possible. You can check the recording, relive all of the fun and cool moments that we shared today, and astound your friends with all the productivity tips that you've learned on becoming even closer to an Evernote Pro. So with that, enjoy your week, and we'll see you at freewebinarwednesdays.com. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.